Good morning, it's Jim Owens, and it's a cold and dreary day in North Alabama. It's Veterans Day, and before we get started this morning, I want to say thank you to all the men and women who have served our nation to make it possible for all of us to pursue our hopes and dreams and feel safe in our homes and secure with our families. So thank you to all of you who have served our nation, and that includes my father, so I give him a special shout out, Dad. Thank you for your time in the United States Army and for the stories you've told me over those experiences. So this morning is Veterans Day. It's a national holiday for many people, and some of you are using this time to recharge your batteries. And since we talk about the cycle of productivity here with our clients, both in organizations and as individuals, I think that's really important. So let's take a minute and just talk about that. Many of you are so busy that it's hard for you to shut the dial off, so to speak, or shut the meter off and turn off the phone, forget about work. So if you think about the ebb and flow of your own energy, one of the things I think is most important is to know how to use that energy best and at the time that it's the best. And in my own practice, my own work, I typically tend to use Fridays as a day of kind of recovery. I leave a lot of white space normally on Fridays to be able to do tasks that are kind of routine, things that don't require a lot of energy or a particular amount of focus. Perhaps I'm putting together an expense report or doing some bookkeeping or maybe just firing off a few responses to emails that I've had or even returning a couple of calls. But I've noticed that day and time is typically not the best time for me to maybe engage with a new prospect or a client. Doesn't mean I don't ever do it. It just means that from a productivity standpoint, that's not typically the best time for me. And so Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are when I try to be out in front of people more often than not, even though today, which is a holiday, I'll be headed out here shortly to go see a prospective client and have just a cup of coffee with somebody. It won't require a ton of energy. It's required a little bit of preparation, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But it's very important to figure out how your calendar works best. One of the people that I know feels like on Friday afternoon is her most productive time of the week, which is surprising to me. She seems to get motivated by the notion that the day is almost over, the week is almost over, and I have to get busy doing the things that are the most important. And perhaps it's because she's able to go home and be more focused with her family, knowing that she's gotten those things done. So today on Veterans Day, I would offer you the opportunity to reflect a little bit on when and how you organize your week. In my case, Mondays, I'll typically spend a lot of energy reaching out to people, try to have some emails out early Monday morning for people to look at and to be able to respond to. I'll try to make some phone calls late morning on Mondays because I know people typically have meetings and I might follow up with somebody. But all in all, each of us has a different kind of cycle of productivity. So it's just really important to find that. It's also important to take a look at our calendars and look ahead and recognize what's coming. So the holidays are upon us. Thanksgiving's in a couple of weeks. Christmas will come. Many of us will be going back and forth to holiday gatherings, seeing families, business gatherings, Christmas parties, and whatnot. And we'll find ourselves exhausted the day after Christmas or the day after New Year's. And it's important to really look at your calendar and make sure that you're investing your time and energy in a constructive way. Attending every party isn't essential most of the time for most of us. We can simply block off a little white space on our calendar from time to time throughout the holiday season to be able to reflect, to re-energize, and to build our enthusiasm rather than drag ourselves through it in the hopes that come the first week of the year, we'll find some new and restored energy. Instead, we'll start the new year many times with high hopes and low energy. So be mindful of that. I said this morning a little bit about the pre-call planning that I'll do before I go to this conversation I'm going to have with someone this morning. And that's another thing that I've been doing this morning. I've been using this time, knowing that people are typically not in their offices, to follow up with people that have been in my pipeline, so to speak, people that I've been in touch with over the last 3 or 4 months. And sometimes it's simply to reconnect and resolve where we left something at one point. It might be the opportunity to request an appointment for in the next couple of weeks during the holidays. Some people actually slow down and find it easier to meet during those times rather than get busier, and they will slow their pace. So it's a great time of the year often for many people to connect with people and to network in ways that are effective. And so I've gone back through my email directory this morning. I've gone back through my email list. We've sent out a pre-call planning brief that we use to a lot of people for the simple sake of helping them find something useful. There's no expectation that people will ask us for an appointment. I don't ask for the opportunity to see people when I do this. I simply say, I hope you find this useful. If you do, let me know. If you don't, let me know. And share it with the people that you think is important. So we also share newspaper articles and white papers and links on the internet to people that we want to stay in touch with. We provide them with things that we hope demonstrate our expertise, that demonstrate our commitment to staying in the relationship and following up, because oftentimes the thing that's most important on our own list isn't the most important thing on someone else's list of things to do. So we have to be present with them and engage with them so that when an opportunity bubbles up, they know that we are there and prepared to discuss something. And we have to know our own sales cycle. So I use email a lot to simply provide that to people and refer them to podcasts and whatnot. So if you're a salesperson, I'd encourage you to do that. And this morning also, if you're in a management or leadership role, take some time to reflect on what it is that's going on in your people this time of year. Are they exhausted? Are they energized? Look back over what's happened with them over the past 9 or 10 months, 11 months now. Look at where you've come from. It's so important. And so often we get to the point where we're at the end of the year, we've either made our budget, we haven't made our budget, and we're exhausted from it, and we're trying to figure out what the heck next year is going to look like. But it's important, especially if you haven't always accomplished all of your goals, to look back over your shoulder and to share with your teams what it is you did accomplish. Perhaps you encountered obstacles that you hadn't anticipated, you had changes in your organization, whether it was policies or procedures or people moved on, new people came in. It's just really important to be able to remind people that and energize them when perhaps they are feeling tired and down from perhaps not being successful or as successful as they want to be. If you want to know more about these things, if you want a copy of the pre-call planner or even a pre-negotiation planner that we use here at Performance Strategies Group, I'd be happy to provide you with a copy. Just email me at jim@performancestrategiesgrouponline.com. You know you can find us on the web. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on LinkedIn. And if we can be any help to you, we'd love to hear from you. And please give us feedback on the usefulness of these videos. We're always looking to do better, and I hope you have a great Veterans Day and that you find either the rest or the time to plan that you want to use it wisely, because that's the one resource that can never be replenished, and that's time. Have a great day. I'm Jim Owens.